Do you agree with Stephanie White?
Listen, I don't watch the WNBA extensively enough to say whether I agree or disagree. But I've often used the line, Shay, that I'll share with you because I don't know if I've ever used it while you've been on the air with me. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose. I've said that many, many times over the years. There is a flagrant level of resentment that exists when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And it has existed since she has arrived in the league. She is the cash cow.
Just one whistle, one bump, just one replay. In a matter of minutes, the entire basketball community ceased discussing the outcome. Rather, the identical question was being asked by all. What was Caitlin Clark's true fate? Not even the fans in the arena anticipated that a single scenario from a typical regular season game would take center stage in basketball discussions around the nation. Not the reporters who are calling the game. And most definitely not the thousands of viewers who would go on to spend hours watching the same video from every viewpoint. However, it is precisely what took place. The last buzzer went off. The athletes made their way to the changing areas. However, the night's greatest tale was just getting started. Social media took off in a matter of minutes. The replay was visible everywhere. Pages about basketball, channels for sports, YouTube producers, podcasts, national broadcasting. It seemed like everyone was discussing the same thing. Here's what made the whole thing even more intriguing. Regarding what they had just witnessed, no one could agree. After watching the replay, some viewers claimed it was just another challenging basketball play. Others who saw the same video had very different perspectives. The argument wasn't just heated. It was present everywhere. The video was never seen by anyone. Once more, they were watching it, then reducing its speed, then contrasting various camera perspectives, then reading thousands of comments from people who all thought they had the answer. The more people observed, the basketball world grew, increasingly polarized. At that point, the narrative took yet another surprising turn. The conversation continued outside of the WNBA. The national sports media swiftly picked it up. TV programs began talking about it. The opinions of basketball analysts were entirely different. Former players shared their thoughts. The conversation gained depth with each new voice. All of a sudden, one contentious scene turned into one of the week's most significant basketball stories. Then there was still another significant change. During First Take, Stephen A. Smith addressed the expanding discussion, drawing even more national attention to a topic that was already making headlines.
News: Phoenix Mercury's Alyssa Thomas receives flagrant foul 2 penalty and a 1-game suspension. I want to know your thoughts. Is 1 game enough? 2 games, 3 games? I'm seeing some say 5 games. I'm seeing some people say 10 games Alyssa Thomas should have been suspended for. I want to know what you think in the comment section below. Phoenix Mercury's Alyssa Thomas receives flagrant foul 2 penalty and a 1-game suspension. June 25th, 2026. Upon post-game review, the Phoenix Mercury's Alyssa Thomas has received a flagrant foul 2 penalty and a 1-game suspension for recklessly making contact with her fist to the throat area of Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark. It was announced today by the WNBA. The incident, for which Thomas was deemed to have committed a non-basketball act, occurred with 6 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the second quarter of the Mercury's 111-109 win over the Fever last night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Per WNBA rule, the league office has the option following its review of any game to reclassify a flagrant foul or to classify as flagrant any foul not called as such during a game and may impose a fine and/or suspension. Alyssa Thomas will serve her suspension on June 27th when the Mercury visit the Toronto Tempo. Now I have a question, because this is similar to what happened with Kennedy Carter. This is also similar with what happened with DJ Nick Carrington. I have a question to the WNBA shills out there. Do any of you guys have the stones? Shout out to Rudy. Any of you guys have the guts, the balls, the courage?
The narrative took a completely different turn when one of the most prominent figures in sports broadcasting joined the conversation. Now, the play was being debated by more than just Fever supporters. Answers were sought after by basketball enthusiasts worldwide. Was this just fierce, elite competition? Did the officials handle the issue well? Or has this incident become a part of a much broader discussion about player safety, consistency, and tough play in the modern WNBA? Fans are still divided over such questions. And that's precisely why this tale won't go away. Because each replay seems to produce a different viewpoint. Every viewpoint sparks a new discussion. Additionally, more people join the discussion with each debate. Just a moment. Just one replay. One choice. Suddenly, a whole league was at the heart of one of the season's most talked about debates. What then took place in the sequence? Why have fans, pundits, and past players responded so differently to a single play? And why, long after the game is over, are people still arguing about it? Let's take a step back, look at the entire sequence, and investigate why this particular moment has emerged as one of the Indiana Fever's most talked about moments this season. The tension of the game naturally increased as it progressed into its most competitive stages. Every item was more important. Each rebound was significant. Each player realized how crucial momentum had become, and neither team was prepared to give up simple chances. You sensed a shift in the vibe. Every defensive stop was applauded. Every ball that went free turned into a fight. The game's physical aspect kept creating possession after possession. The sequence that everyone is still discussing came next. Both the audience and viewers at home were quickly drawn to a fast-paced drama starring Caitlin Clark.
Star power and her cachet, and as a result, if they have an opportunity to go at her, they're going to take it. Now, Caitlin Clark is no innocent bystander in all of this. She's a high-end competitor. She can be very feisty. We saw from her college days where she can chirp and talk junk at you, which is why Angel Reese went at her when they ultimately beat her for the national championship, because she was chirping right back at her and trolling her. That's where the real fame of Angel Reese rose. We saw all of this. In the end, there are people that undoubtedly respect her, and you have an appreciation for what she's brought to the game in terms of notoriety and what have you. And I'll be the first to say that the Janae Ogwumike's, the Andrea Carters, and all of them, Monica McNutts, are far more qualified than me to speak on the issue because they see more of it than I do. But with what I've seen, you are able to say 1 + 1 = 2. And there's been a level of resentment that has existed where I believe there's been a failure on the part of some people to appreciate the mantra of a rising tide lifts all boats. Ride this cash cow till the wheels come off. They did it in the NBA with Magic Johnson. They did it ultimately with Michael Jordan. You know, that's how you do this. You find somebody that just galvanizes folks and ingratiates themselves with the public at large in such a way where everywhere they go and whatever they do, everybody wants to watch. You don't resent that. You feed off of it to build your own. And I think that WNBA as a whole, that women's basketball as a whole, and some, not most, not all, but some WNBA players need to appreciate that and gravitate to that and grab hold of that and ride that wave to your own ascension, as opposed to resenting it and showcasing it the second you get an opportunity to, whenever Caitlin Clark is in your vicinity. That would be my advice. That's all I could say about that.
I didn't love that this happened not once but twice yesterday, where there was basically a no call. I thought Stephanie White did the right thing. She should have gone off. She needs to protect her superstar.
She did.
That's her right. Completely.
Absolutely.
I also do think the league should probably review this. I don't have information on if they have started that process or not, but I think that maybe would be a good call, considering some of the images that have come out from this. I'm not calling anyone a dirty player, but it did feel a little bit like a cheap shot. So I agree with Stephanie.
Well, the NBA, if the NBA is going to review calls, you're saying the WNBA can review calls and act retroactively and make sure that you hand down appropriate punishment where you deem.
Reactions occurred almost immediately within the arena. In a matter of minutes, such responses increased online. Clips started to go viral on social media at an amazing rate. Slow-motion breakdowns were posted by basketball creators. The replay was paused frame by fans. Various camera perspectives emerged, and every new perspective seemed to start a whole new discussion. Some thought the officials had made the right choice in real time. Others contended that the replay brought up challenging issues that need discussion. This is precisely the reason this moment grew much beyond a single possession. Because the discussion automatically expands beyond the actual game whenever millions of basketball fans start analyzing the same play from several angles. And that is precisely what took place. The more people observed, they had more inquiries. The conversation grew in size as they asked additional questions. And as the hours went by, it became more and more obvious that this wasn't just another viral highlight. It had turned into one of the week's most important basketball discussions.